You're good. All right, we are back for part two. So we last left, and what happened to Francesco? He's gonna lose Violetta. Why do you think that's so hard? Why is he fighting so hard to keep Violetta? Sorry. Why do you think he's fighting so hard, Isaac? It's his pet. Why else might he be fighting so hard? Think if you were Francesco and you've gone through what he has gone through, why would you fight so hard? What do you think, Zane?
She's been with him so long, he considers her part of the family.
Yep. Why else? There's another reason I can think of too. What else, Rosie?
Like one of his family members just died, and he's like, well, I'm losing everyone.
Yeah.
I can't, like, it's just really sad.
I can't handle this. Like, I just lost my brother. Now you're telling me I can't have my goat? Do I even want to go to America? The answer is yes. But kind of the thoughts running through his mind. He's like, I've lost my brother. Now I have to lose my goat. All right, let's keep reading. Chapter 25. Frank, can you do me a favor and close the door really quickly? Oh, never mind. That sounds like it was open. All right. Dominic watched as Francesco's hand clutched the rope tighter. Give me the rope, Father Tommaso said, placing his hand on Francesco's. I know how difficult this is for you, but I can't, Father. I can't, Francesco cried, kneeling down beside Violetta. Violetta moved closer to him and tenderly licked his cheek, as though she knew what was about to happen. Move forward, please, an agent's voice commanded. The man behind Francesco moved forward, nearly knocking him over. My son, give her to me, Father Tommaso whispered. I will take good care of her. Sorry, 1 second, pause. I won't let her out of my sight, I promise you. Gently, he took the rope out of his hand, but Francesco hugged Violetta to him, clinging to her for dear life. Violetta's eyes had widened with terror. Francesco, I'm surprised at you, Father Tommaso said sternly, punctuating each sentence with a flick of his wrist. You are the head of your family. Is this how you will act in America? You must set an example for Antonio. You must be brave. Francesco let go of Violetta, but he didn't take his eyes off her. Finally, he stood up. I'm sorry, Father, he said. It's just that I shall probably never see her again. I know, my son, the priest whispered. You probably never will see her again. He took all 3 boys in his arms at once, and teary-eyed, he gave them one last loving hug. Then he gave the rope a gentle tug. Violetta followed, looking back at Francesco with a questioning look. Francesco stared helplessly after her as Dominic grabbed him by the arm, and they made their way up the gangplank. Francesco was frantic to have one last look at Violetta. It was all Dominic could do to hold him back. They searched the crowd below, through the blur of bodies, boxes, and baskets. Francesco was the first to spot her, although she couldn't see him. He watched as her frightened eyes searched through the crowd, looking from one person to the next. I'm sorry, Francesco whispered. I am so sorry. He tried to smile through his tears. Let her sleep near you at night, Father, he yelled into the roar of the crowd. And don't let her eat bad weeds, and be sure to rub her nose each morning. She likes that. And suddenly, his voice was drowned out by the deafening sound of the ship's whistle. The line surged forward, and Antonio clung to Francesco as they were carried along by the wave of people. The loud whistle of the ship blew again, and everyone turned to look back at the docks and wave goodbye to their loved ones. With tears streaming down his face, Francesco stumbled forward, searching in the sea of faces on the wharf. But by now, Father Tommaso and Violetta had blended into the mass of bodies. People shouted and called out to one another, their voices all blurred into one loud roar that echoed in Dominic's ears. Arrivederci, goodbye, my sweet. He saw Francesco mouth the words, Arrivederci, Avoleto, arrivederci. Dominic's eyes wandered over the crowd, and then beyond them to the hills that rose up from the city. He remembered his first look at Avoleto, the sounds of the birds and the bells, the gentle curves of the trees, the bittersweet smell of lemons. He thought of the 5 of them there, Francesco, Salvatore, Antonio, Violetta, and himself. He remembered them talking, laughing, and singing. He recalled the happy times they spent together on those sunny hills. "Goodbye, Alvaletto," Dominic whispered, and as he did, he heard the hushed whispers of hundreds of goodbyes all around him. And tomorrow will be chapter 26. All right. So, what are we thinking so far? Sad, but remember, what did the guard say? This is a boat. This isn't an ark. What do you think he was referencing? Like Noah's Ark. Yeah, we can't have all these animals, because if we let one goat in, guess what we're going to have to do? Would you want to stay on a crowded ship with humans and animals too then? For 2 weeks when people can't even get baths? Remember, no baths, no showers, really? Alright, we'll have to see if you change your mind in a few days. Alright, let's take a look at your homework. In your packet, you're going to be starting at what number? Number 5 with chapter 24. My friends, please don't get started yet. I want to make sure you understand what each one is asking, okay? So this is your time to look through and ask me questions on them. So you're going to do the rest of this page, 5 through 11, okay? So, number 10 gives you 3 lines. Why do you think number 10 gives you 3 lines? Holly? Yeah, they want you to write a little bit more, so they give you more space. List the instructions Francesco had given Father Tommaso to take care of Violetta. What chapter can you find that in? 25. Do you remember where in chapter 25 it was? Near middle-ish, middle end. It was a short chapter. It was towards the top of one of those pages. Good. Do you know in number 9 what scolded means? Christian, what scolded mean? He's angry, right? He kind of yelled at Francesco. Why? You have to tell me why. Any other ones that look confusing? I think those were... We talked about number 6 a little bit. What do you think the bishop thought of the boys? Okay. All right. Oh, and instead of this one, so angry, instead of W-I-L-E, what should that be? It's supposed to be an H. It's supposed to be W-H-I-L-E. So fourth grade friends, I'd like you to change that now so that you, when you're reading, you're not like, what is this word? I don't know. You know it's supposed to be while. Why that is, and it also is pronounced while, but it's a different meaning. I don't remember off the top of my head. But it is a real word. It is a real word. All right. Questions on your homework? All right, then that's all we've got for reading.